Welcome to this video. In my last video I showed you how to build a Galaxia Plus computer, and today we will improve its sound capabilities. We will build a sound card for it, and it will plug into this expansion port of the main board. The heart of this sound card will be this Yamaha sound chip. It's a YM2149F, which is a licensed version of the AY3-8910 chip made by General Instruments. This chip has been used in various arcade games and computers of the 1980s. Among them, the Amstrad CPC, the MSX, and even the Atari ST had this sound chip. Although at the time the ST was introduced, this chip was already a little outdated. Let's first have a look at the sound capabilities of the standard Galaxia computer. Well, as I mentioned in the first video, it basically had no sound at all, but you could unofficially use the tape output port to produce sound, and this is what I'll show you now. I've connected this tape output, which for some reason is marked input on the mainboard, to the audio input of my TV set, and here you see this cinch to 3.5mm adapter, and here in the middle there's this mono to stereo adapter. And this is just an ordinary 3.5mm stereo cable. Here's a little basic program that I have written, and when I tap save to save it to tape, we hear beeps containing the program data, and just like that, music or sound effects can be played over this tape output. The Z88DKC compiler has quite decent support for 1-bit sound on the Galaxia tape output, so here's a little program that I've compiled, and it just plays all available predefined 1-bit sound effects. And this sounds surprisingly good. And we notice that the screen gets blank every time a sound is played. This is no big deal here, but we will soon find out that this indeed is a problem. And this is my cross-platform game Deep Space. I've added 1-bit sound support in this game, and this is what it sounds like on the Galaxia, with the sound being played over the tape output port. And this actually sounds quite good, but the problem is you notice that the screen is turned off every time a sound is being played, and like that, unfortunately, it's quite useless for action games. And now back to the sound card that we are going to build. Once again, I have designed a PCB, and I've tried to keep this as small as possible. The circuit has been designed by PVV, who also designed the Galaxia Plus replica that we have built, although I believe this is mostly based on the original Galaxia soundboard from the 1980s. So, there's only a few parts to solder. I think this shouldn't be too difficult to build, and so let's start soldering. So I'm finished with soldering now, but I haven't populated the two IC sockets yet. Because we should first check the voltage levels on these two sockets, just to rule out any stupid errors which could potentially destroy these ICs. Here's the sound card connected to the mainboard, and here's the power supply connected. And I've disconnected everything else for this test. The smaller IC, the 7402, uses the standard pin configuration, which is the bottom right pin on ground and the top left one is VCC. And here we have the reduced voltage that our mainboard is running on. And the sound chip uses the two leftmost pins. So there's ground on the bottom left pin and VCC on the top left pin. And here we have the expected voltage again. So this check has been successful, and we can now populate the two IC sockets. So here it is, plugged into the mainboard and ready for a first test. There's only a little design flaw that I hadn't noticed until now, is that the audio output cable comes into the way of the video cable. Because I initially wanted to use such a straight connector, and then I switched to this angled one to give it an overall flat design. And I think I will change this and I will rotate this plug by 90 degrees for a potential future revision of this PCB. And now the moment we've all been waiting for. I'll now try it for the first time. I've connected these active speakers to the sound card, and I'll now load one of the programs that came with the SD card package. And I will now load the first of these G-Music programs. Okay, and now I will start it, and let's keep our fingers crossed. Can't believe it, it's working! We have a working sound card! So this has been a successful first test, and in the meantime I've tried a few other things, and everything is working as it should. The only thing that's not working for some reason is this PTX player. This one should list the PT2 and PT3 files that are on the SD card, and you should be able to select one of these files and play it. For some reason, when I start it, it only gives a broken screen. I have tried it previously on the ZX Uno, and there it's working, but I couldn't get it working on any of the emulators. However, you can alternatively use the Z88DK compiler to create a GTP file that will play a single PT3 file. I've put this source on my Google Drive, and I've put there a few sample files that I've created using PT3 files that I found on the web. And now let's listen to these. me finally show you my game Deep Space, which I've updated so that it now supports PSG sound as well. We can press the S key to toggle the sound options. 1-bit sound is the sound over the tape output, and this is the new PSG sound over the sound card. And now let's listen to this. And we notice that this sound is now coming from the speakers, and the screen is no longer turned off while the sound is being played. So, I think we can call this a successful ending to our project. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I'll keep playing my game now for some time. Until next time, goodbye.